So this video accompanies the Minor 2/5s A Breakdown PDF that appears in the Grant Green Minor 2/5s lesson folder. And in this video we're going to quickly go through the harmonic implications of a minor 2/5 because it's slightly more complicated than a major 2/5. And you're playing jazz musicians are going to know if you know what you're doing by how you approach minor 2/5s. It's one of the real telltale signs of whether or not somebody really knows what they're doing when they play over jazz harmony. And when I say minor 2/5s, I'm really talking about in the key of C. A minor 2 is a minor 7 flat 5, D minor 7 flat 5, to G7, which is going to have a flat 9 or a sharp 9 on it. Alright, and then a 1, which would be a minor 7, a minor major 7, or minor 6, minor 6, 9. Those are really our sounds in the minor 2/5 harmony. When we talk about major 2/5s, right, you can play a blanket scale over an entire major 2/5. Let's talk about that in the key of C. So we have D minor, the 2, to G7, the 5, to C major. Right? So the C major scale is going to work over this whole thing. Modally, C major scale over D minor is D Dorian, right? C major scale over G7, right, gives us Mixolydian. That flatted 7th, right, and then the C major scale over the 1, our Ionian or tonic sound. So that tonic scale superimposes the modes relative to each one of those chords over the whole harmonic progression. In a minor 2/5, that doesn't work. We come back here to this minor 7 flat 5 chord. There's two real ways to look at a minor 7 flat 5 chord. In the bebop era, it was really seen as the 7th of the major mode. So for D minor 7 flat 5, it's really the 7th of E flat major. Okay? Which, if we're looking at it that way, G7, right, doesn't fit in the E flat major scale because of the B natural. This should be G minor, the 3 of E flat major. C minor would be the 6, but right in a minor 2/5, our minor 1 chord is really going to be like a 6/9 or a minor major 7 sound, which either has an A natural or a B natural in it. Okay, so you don't have that modal superimposition over the entire minor 2/5 to accurately sound each one of those particular chords. Same deal with the other way to look at it, and this is a bit more modern approach. So thinking about the D minor 7 flat 5 as related to the F melodic minor scale. Right, so it becomes the 6th, the mode Locrian sharp 2, which accurately spells out this chord with a natural 9 as opposed to a flat 9. This E natural. Okay? And then that goes into G7. But that would be the 2 of F melodic minor. So again, you're thinking about a minor chord relative to the key. That B natural, again, doesn't fit in the key, so you have to adjust for that. And then, same deal with this minor major sound, minor sound, whatever. In F melodic minor, C would be the 5 or a dominant chord. That would be an E flat as opposed to an E. The 3rd is the note that's different. So you don't really have the option of using one blanket scale over an entire minor 2/5. Grant Green really approached this scale in two different ways, or this harmonic progression in two different ways. The first is thinking about it from the standpoint of F minor. Beboppers really thought about minor 7 flat 5 chords as a minor triad with the 6th and the bass. Okay? And we can take a look at that by looking at the very first example on the PDF. I have D minor 7 flat 5 written out in whole notes, stacked in thirds, in a way that we can see that the triad is actually the top 3 notes. We have F, A flat, and C, with a D in the bass. Right? So you got D, F, A flat, C. So if I rearrange that to go to a grip that we commonly associate with a minor 7 flat 5 chord, this one right here, where I have D on in the root position, right, on my first finger, and then I have A flat here on my third finger on the fourth string. My second finger is on C on the third string, and my pinky is on F on the second string. So it's the same deal, I've just inverted the F minor triad. D is still in the bass, the sixth of F minor, and then I have A flat, C, F, an F minor triad, the sixth in the bass. If I move to a drop 3, another grip you may have seen for a minor 7 flat 5 chord, D, still in the bass, but now I have C, F, A flat. I'm really looking at this chord from the standpoint of it being a minor triad, F minor, with the sixth of that particular scale, F minor, in the bass, D. Okay? So this is the way that Grant Green is actually looking at this chord. You see some of the ideas that he plays come across a little odd, right? So you end up seeing an E flat on the G7 chord in some of his solos, like What Is This Thing Called Love and whatnot. He's actually really thinking about it as if it were an F minor type sound over the whole thing, right? Because I can play really an F minor triad and accomplish that sound, right? I just have to resolve to the G7 by getting to that B. Okay, so I have a little play along here for a D minor 7 flat 5 sound, and I'm going to play the second example over this. So we're looking at the F minor scale. Okay, so here we go. So that's that F minor scale against that minor 7 flat 5. Let's hear it again. So it gives us the third of the minor 7 flat 5, the flat 9, which comes out of that E flat major key, right? Which bebop era musicians are going to look to hear, is that flat 9. D, the root, C, the 7th, B flat, the flat 6, that's in the chord, A flat, the flat 5, G, the 11th, sweet sound, and then finally F, the third again. Okay? So let's look at this next example here. So another place that we can get this same sound out of is out of the F melodic minor scale. So on this third example with the F minor major 7 chord above it, we're looking at the melodic minor scale against this minor 7 flat 5 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do that one more time. You can hear that natural 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that natural 9 is quite a different sound. That E natural, that's the 7th of the F melodic minor scale. It's a little bit more modern sound. This is something that we actually hear Grant Green do too. He will play that E natural in his arpeggios against a minor 7 flat 5 chord. It's not as common as that flat 9 that he uses. It's a little bit more from that bebop, the Charlie Parker era. Something that you hear some of the older jazz musicians do as opposed to more modern jazz musicians. But either one is acceptable in particular contexts, okay? Depending on who you're playing with and really what the tune is as well. So the next one I have on here. We've talked about 2 being equal to 5, right? So if everything that we're examining right now is looking at it from the standpoint of F minor, its related 5 would be B flat 7. What I have here is the B flat bebop scale under the B flat 7 chord. So the B flat bebop scale against that. Let's hear it again. So the B flat bebop scale is going to work against that chord as well. We start on that flat 6, right on the downbeat, go through an A natural on the offbeat, the natural 5, not a note you want, but chromatically it leads us to the flat 5 on the downbeat, right? So it kind of works. Sounds great. It's what you hear people play a lot. Grant Green plays it a ton. And then we have G natural, the 11th suite, F natural, the 3rd, gotta have that. E flat, the flat 9, like we talked about out of the E flat major scale. Hey, this is the 5 of the E flat major. The root down to the 7th C. So there's different ways that we can approach the bebop scale. We have all those enclosures, which if you haven't ever gotten around to, that's for another video. But there are different enclosures that we can use, and one of them is in the next example. So I have a full minor 2/5 written out here, and we're using just the B flat bebop scale with a deflection. So you see that we go down the bebop scale, B flat, A flat, G, F. Here's the deflection, right? We're going to go F to E natural, right? Up to G, back to the E natural, up to F. So this is what's referred to as a deflection. Using that natural 9, the E natural sound, to extend the bebop line and kind of give it some more interest. So it's not a scalar pattern going straight down. Very common in the playing of early beboppers. But it gives us that natural 9 sound out of the bebop scale, right? So we're using the bebop scale and achieving the natural 9 sound. So the next thing in here that you might be hearing that's a little weird is I end on B natural, right? We have to resolve to that B natural somehow. That's the note of the G7 chord that's different from F minor and from E flat major. That's the difference between it being a minor chord and a dominant chord. Otherwise, all the other notes are the same. So to sound that G7 flat 9, we got to get to that B natural. On the B flat bebop scale, it's perfect. It's right there. So let's hear that in context. There we're using that B flat bebop sound to play over the minor 2/5 and then resolving to this B natural. Well, what do I do from there? We've seen Grant Green play a lot of 3 to flat 9 ideas using the diminished arpeggio from the 3rd of a dominant chord in some of these other licks. So why can't I do it here? So in this final example here, I have G7 flat 9 resolving to G natural, which could be the 5 of a C minor. So let's hear that. So really in this lesson, we're just talking about some of the harmonic implications of a minor 2/5 harmonic progression. We've looked at how Grant Green is approaching a minor 7 flat 5 chord and thinking about it as a minor triad with the 6th in the bass. If you're only really concerned about that F minor triad, right, it gives us a lot of F minor options over the minor 7 flat 5 chord. Okay, we have the F minor scale, we have the F melodic minor scale, and then you've got all your B flat dominant bebop ideas that work because 2 is equal to 5. This includes deflections, enclosures, straight down the bebop scale, any of those ideas that achieve getting that A flat on the strong beat, not on an off beat, but on a down beat within the measure. And then you're really just finding a way to resolve to that B natural on the G7 chord. Then all of your diminished ideas, all of your 3 to flat 9 ideas, all of those ideas come into play as you resolve down to C minor, the 1 of our harmonic progression. Okay, so in the next video, we're actually going to look at different transcribed licks from Grant Green's playing, and we'll see these harmonic implications used in the licks that he plays. These are fantastic ways to approach minor 2/5s, and they'll really make it sound like you know what you're doing and make it sound like you're really comfortable playing with one of the more difficult harmonic progressions in jazz.